light up here, so maybe he will be here. Wouldn't that be nice? We did that once before. Only once. It's been a little bit imbalanced, but hopefully we find them soon. We're both doing worthwhile content, so that'd be great. Just gonna, for those that see this well, okay, there's somebody here, so I'm just gonna jump right into it. I haven't been rolling only about a minute. And basically, so the first thing that I mentioned in the title and this video being about is that this live stream is especially for anybody who's struggling. Okay, now I do want to pace myself because it's early. I'm still a little bit. My sinuses are meh at the moment, and my throat's mildly sore. But I will probably try and have some more coffee shortly. Just a moment. But kind of want to wait till there's at least somebody listening. Even better if they also chat. So I just, use my energy, um, with the guarantee that somebody's going to hear it. I mean, of course, likely afterwards, but, there's a lot of stuff on here. Depends how the algorithms go, as I always say. So, but if this looks like it has a lot of content in it, you're welcome to skip ahead, watch a bit more if you like. Very rarely, I would say probably with a lot of people, I don't want to speak for them, but very rarely is anybody who does really long podcasts, is it like not, um, you know, not as helpful if you don't watch the full thing. We do what we can. But yeah, so you're welcome to skip ahead to where the content begins. I'll try and remember to put a mention, but wherever you place it and land is where you're meant to be, and you're meant to be here. First of all, this live stream is for anybody who's struggling right now. I know that's a lot of people. Okay, the person left, or at least it looks like they did. It's more than that, though. Okay, either that or the back. It's also for. It's also to speak about how this life is for all of us. I was watching something a little earlier, and that statement was said about 4 or 5 minutes into the video, and it spoke to me. And I wanted to come here and talk about that. We could also talk about your thoughts about the Christmas season or the holidays in general. As far as whether you celebrate it or don't, we could still talk about it if you like. Just looking at the side panel here. Also curious to talk about what it means to make it in the world. What do you think it means? Do you feel you're doing it? If so, why? If not, why? And that kind of connects with what matters most in life, because I mean that can be a lot of things. I think in society we often think that it means sorry, my geese looks a little funny, in career life, and it certainly can, but it's not the only area. Why is it showing all these students that are finished? Like, okay, until I say it. I've been in the HR workforce. My profession was HR. I've laid people off. I've done it all. I know my. I just find they're a little loud for right now. But sometimes because of budget, you have to You have to do that. Just gotta wait till there's people here. They'll either see the title or they'll see that. You know what? Even though there's not that much there yet, I'm going to pin that to the top because then it stands out a bit. Of course, it also flashes, but even in the small mode, it's still kind of chapstick if you're curious, chapstick if you're not. It's still kind of on the right background, so that kind of helps. So, I sometimes talk about the whole thing about going through struggles and this and that on this channel, and that's one thing that the channel is about I don't want to hear about people struggling. It's maybe what that person said when they left. But it's these cushions are terrible on this couch. It's a nice couch. It's holding up pretty well for many years, but they slide. I tell you. And it doesn't matter if you have cushions on top of them. I mean, there's probably something we could do about it, but at the moment. But yeah, and that's one thing that this channel is about, is supporting each other, and we all have the ability to. I mean, even if we're struggling ourselves, we're learning things from that. And if we have a caring, empathic, and the desire to do so, it's really all you need. And I sometimes think that maybe, no, I don't want to say that, but the profession, um, and people work differently for money, whatever. But wait, I haven't really made the playlist I made, but so yeah, the next part of this is about this life is for all of us. It's an interesting thing. It's an interesting statement, right? I mean, possibly, or most likely, feels like an obvious statement, but I know that. Okay, it is really weird. But yeah, me, the things that I guess or say when I notice that happen, it really could be what somebody thinks. So that's one reason why I feel like it's important to state when those kind of, or it's important when those kind of things kind of get blurred out, is blurted out, is because people that will see this after the fact, or that are also watching and thinking the same thing, you know, it might put it in a different perspective for them. It might kind of um, make them have a different reaction. You know, like I say, that it's an obvious statement, but it's deeper than that. You know, Um, and everybody's going to hear it differently too, really. You know, I'm just going to wait for a moment till somebody else is here and get that a bit more there. I have real difficulty with these pillows at the moment. um, feel like I'm starting to get some momentum there, but again, you know, for all the reasons, I don't always do it, but sometimes I definitely feel like it's, you know, the best approach. Um, Waiting till there's actually somebody here, so I will. Perfect. So, you know, it may sound like an obvious statement that this life is for all of us, but some of us definitely, or we definitely know people that are, at least it looks like it, maybe don't feel that. And so it really, you know, and the person who posted the, and said that statement, um, I got the sense, I didn't watch all of it. It wasn't super long, but I was already watching something and looking at my tabs on this other device. And I don't know, I just, once I heard that part as well, that's the other thing is I just stopped and I said, okay, I'm going to roll with that, and then go back to it later. So, um, you know, it really is, uh, it really is, you know, she uh, remembering kind of the title, but also, yeah, just the vibe of it. Um, I would say that she was one that didn't feel that, uh, necessarily, but it's interesting because that can be very common. Where, you know, just like I said, with the fence I'm on as far as that goes, but where somebody can feel it, but speak in a more motivational way to others about it, than they maybe feel for themselves. Just a moment. Something stuck in my tooth. And, you know, uh, you know what kind of comes from that too, though, is I feel like it also helps motivate other people themselves when they do it. You know, and there might even be a bit of their subconscious that is hoping that. You know, even if they're very much about helping others as well. So, um, you know, gonna wait. But then I don't want it to be like anything. Um, oh, we got two at the same time coming. Welcome to this video and channel. Um, so the concept of life is for all of us. You know, I feel like I'd be able to get more in depth on that with, uh, you know, if you join the chat. I haven't been rolling super long, so yeah, I welcome you to do so. Even when I have been rolling long, I mean, you know, but yeah, and um, another way to say that life is for all of us is uh, pretty much that we all matter. Um, and I'd be curious, the two people that are here right now that I feel are meant to be here, do you feel that you matter? Do you feel that you're living the life you'd like to live? That's a great way to put it, I think. Um, yeah, conversation isn't forced, but it is welcome, as well as likes, subscribing, and I'm curious if you've been to the channel before or if it's your first time. Well, if you haven't been to the channel before, it would be. And how you came across the video. That's what I meant to say. I don't want to say too much all at once, just in case you maybe struggle to multitask and listen and type at the same time. Some do, some don't. I think what I might also do, because this is the first stream I've done today, is I'm going to look on the cell phone. Is that who I thought it was? No. Go look on the cell phone and just see if any comments are showing up there. Because so far they aren't on the laptop. Resources. Nope, doesn't look like it. And the two have both left. Some people may feel, it's good to think about how some people may think. Not everybody will, but I think it's a good skill to have. You know, some people might call it mind reading. We do the best we can. Uh, some people may feel like they don't have to answer anything, and they don't really. I mean, I would feel though that a lot of those people are more strongly introverted. They're not as much about, we all conversate. That's, a human thing. And I'm one of those that does agree that everybody's a little introverted and extroverted, but some are more one than the other. And basically, I feel that the ones that are more willing to chat are the ones that um, are less introverted. Now, what's interesting is it's showing me on the cell phone that there's somebody viewing, but it's not showing me that on the computer. So I'm glad that oh, but now it is. um, but just in case there's any kind of inconsistencies or whatever, I'm also watching on here for the chat. Yeah. Already, I feel like I need to top up my water with the colder one. If it feels somewhat cold, oh, maybe this one's colder. Especially with how my throat is right now. And yeah, you can see some of the topics at the side chat there. I've not been rolling super long, but you can see some of them there that I have, and we can talk about anything that. Tell you that looks at it. Oh no, maybe a back. Yeah, we could talk about any of that stuff in the side chat. I would say, or anything else you want to, but I think there's some good topics there, and if any of them interest you, I'd rather stick on those topics, and who knows where we might go with them. You know, like for instance, I just had an interesting kind of reminder about something, and I'm trying to decide about it. So maybe I should jump into that topic. But I also know that if we did see, I'm less interested in that one. Um, and honestly, it could be difficult as much as I'd want to be reflected about not even a step if I decide I don't want to over the holidays. Um, you know, it brings up the topic though, which maybe I'll touch on more in another video. I don't know. It brings up the topic though of like supporting loved ones that are struggling and also maintaining your own wellness. Um, Struggling or just hard to be around. you know, could be either or both, and how you maintain your own wellness while you're doing that. Um, I'm thinking of a relative right now that, and you can join the conversation, any of the thoughts on any of the stuff at the side there, and that I'm saying. Um, I'm thinking about a relative who has been homeless and had a lot of struggles much of her adult life. She's kind of in my blended family, um, and I haven't really known her that long. Probably skip this part with G, but I should have said that before I said the other stuff. But um, yeah, but the thing is, well, but he might already be thinking too. I mean, he hasn't been in much contact with the other sister, but when the other one passed, I think that really, I've only kind of seen it, but I think that when his one sibling passed, the other it made it more it made it more like to focus on the ones that he does still have, even though I said, oh, that's a good segue to call your brother, certainly not mine, but it was really more related to mine. Um, even though one doesn't talk to any of them, don't even know if he knows that the other one's passed away recently. It does sound like Pat something, though, which is somewhat surprising, because I mean, you know, it wasn't just G that he wasn't talking to; it was the one that recently passed away before she passed. Like I say, he may not even know that she'd gotten sick with cancer and all that. Which, by the way, for some reason, Care keeps calling us. They've called us about 5 or 6 times. It's not that it's not an important thing, or that we aren't touched by that kind of stuff, or by that. Um, where it hasn't affected, our connections or whatever. But they're kind of, and I don't know if it has anything to do with being the holidays, but they're really kind of. And then today I answered and I had something playing for a minute or two, and then I said, and they hadn't hung up, and I said something, and nobody was there. Um, I'm more so looking at it as that our loved ones that have passed that way are with us, and wanting just to let us know, like, that they are, like, actually strongly around us, because especially at those particular moments, like most strongly, you know, the treatment for that kind of stuff is often not helpful, and often is said to make it kind of progress to other things that are, you know, when the body's already dealing with that. So, but, um, so that was about probably 45 minutes ago ish that they called around 9. Well, yeah, 9, maybe. Um, so I don't know if that means that I'm sending any of those angels around right now, because there's certainly nobody here to chat with. This is white light energy healing that I do for myself, but happy to bring the healing to others as well. I don't dabble in the dark stuff. And yeah, I don't think anybody should. Um, but it can be very powerful and special. And honestly, I think that all of us would like to know, would like, this is an interesting thing to put out there, to put it this way, because I do talk about this kind of somewhat often on here. I think all of us would love the validation of knowing that even though our loved ones aren't in the physical anymore, once they passed, that they are still around. We'd love to receive messages from them, signs and symbols, and maybe we just don't. Oh, hi, Leanne. Nice to see you. Good to have you here. Maybe we just don't. I didn't notice your subscription, by the way, unless it didn't for some reason, but obviously you are. I mean, you may have just came right out the other one before, but today, remember to like. I appreciate you being here. How are you today? Um, Last night, I guess it was daytime there then. Okay. I think chemistry, if I recall. Thanks for the like. Yeah, but and so we might not feel them around, um, or we do, but we don't acknowledge it. We don't believe it, or whatever. Maybe makes us feel a little bit iffy, but we can change that. We can change that to be like, oh, this is nice, this is special, this is lovely. As I mentioned last night, one of my cancer losses, isn't it totally fine? I mean, I know she's in a better place, and sent her around sometimes, and it wasn't a few years ago, but is a Leanne. And I say it's fine, but it's unfortunate that she passed away. Of course it is. That her kids are having to grow up without having her physically, that her husband doesn't have her physically, that her other loved ones. I was living in another province. Um, that's always the hard part, right? But anyway, I don't mean to be talking about sad stuff, but I just wanted to remind people that that you can, if you let yourself, you can sense things. Um, like I'm not necessarily special or gifted in that way, but I guess I kind of am. Um, anyway, I'm okay. My sinuses and my throat aren't too bad at the moment, but they have been sore this morning a little bit. I'm feeling slow, believe it or not, and yeah, I've got some things things on my mind. I think I was also thinking songs, maybe, or maybe I was thinking songs. Who knows, right? Anyway, and I've typed them into the side panel chat here, so we could talk about anything that jumps out to you from there. I'd be happy to do so. I was also trying to find a message within some messaging that I wanted to look back at. I know that it was just a few days ago. The one particular one that I'm thinking about at the moment was just a few days ago, so I scrolled too far. Also, aside from those topics, I'm curious, are you into country music at all? I don't remember if it was last night's video or not, but apparently there was a news of a country artist that had some medical issue come up, but I didn't click the article and I don't still have it open. You live on a farm. That doesn't necessarily mean you like country music, but I'm guessing you're saying yes to that then. I grew up, yeah, I realized what you meant, but I'm sure you love it too. A lot of it. I understand mild typos. I grew up on one until I was about 6 or 7. A farm, not a mild typo. um, um, what do you have on your farm? Like what type of animals? Sorry, I don't mean to seem that I'm not focused. I just wanted to remember what I was doing before you tuned in. But I'm very glad that you're here. I haven't been rolling super long, but it is quiet right now, so it's nice to have someone to chat with, that's for sure. Okay, I found what I was looking for. Now do I read it? I think I will, because I'm letting you answer some things, so I'll hush up while you do so. Funny story. I don't think about it on here. Funny story. And I'm glad that you're safe. I'm glad that you're safe even without that thing that happened. But because otherwise I'd be feeling a little bit awkward chatting. But my parents were given a goat as a wedding present. They were almost given chickens, or at least that was the joke. But the person was driving about from 2 or 3 hours away, and a goat was easier to drive with. Although I wouldn't imagine much. Also, I recently heard about puppy yoga, um, and I've seen it with goats. it kind of defeats the focus of focusing on the yoga and the Zen, but uh, yeah, I'm not gonna ask how. But I did have a very interesting product the other day. I know it might sound gross. It was kind of tasted like it. Kind of was gross in a way, but it was bacon flavored hot chocolate. Um, we had horses and dogs and a cat and for a while rabbits. Uh, this is going back quite a long time in my life. Uh, we lived with somebody lived on the top of our garage, which somewhat renovated. I don't remember what it looked like, but they had a snake. It died laying in the window in the winter, though. I mean, I don't know how old it was, and you'd think if it could get up there, it would do that often. And otherwise, I don't know. I don't know how that happened, but especially because they, when was it? Um, but um, that was different winter than what we got. Welcome to the second person here, by the way. Don't be shy to join in. Um, there's been some turkeys in the area, and we don't live in the country. Apparently, there's been a couple of sightings. It's weird. Oh, and now I'm thinking of Clive from Trading Places. Ever see that show? Uh, what kind of dogs? I mean, you say big dogs, but what kind of dogs? You have any favorite episodes? If that yes is to what I think it is, I think it's an interesting concept. Really, it's about trading a whole family for a week. I know there's probably a lot they don't show, but it's an interesting concept of a show. Every now and then I binge watch my favorites, but I've seen a few of them so many times now that I've been connected to a couple people from it too. Actually, three I think actually. uh, One has passed away. Okay, there was Tammy, Pepper, Diana, briefly. There was another one, a lab mix. Yeah, I heard the other day somebody has a lab pitbull mix. I mean, I don't want to be saying I'm anti pitbull or whatever, but like, even though they're both big breeds, those are two different breeds. And I know usually when you mix like that, they would be just like people and cultures, when you think about it. But for some reason, I don't think a pit bull should be put with the personality in that of a lab in the same dog, at least. I don't know. Maybe I'm wrong. German shepherds, they get to my sinuses. The type of fur uh, makes hound. Hmm? What? And then yeah, when I used to go to the farms with my dad, I know the black potbelly pig. Well, I heard that it bit somebody or almost did or whatever, and I don't know. They move around. As a kid, I used to hide out in my dad's work truck whenever we'd go there. Uh, okay, Palm, Pom, a cheerleader. Just kidding, that too. Uh, okay. I just have my armpits, and I don't know if they call under the knee a pit, but I have those too. And I'm blessed, I guess, in that way. Because some people don't. Kind of came out this morning, remember? Anyway, yeah. So I'd like you to also take a look at the comment at the top and the couple underneath it, because there's some topics there I'd love to get into. I don't mind that we've talked about, what we've talked about, but and then I'm also thinking I might have lunch soon. I have some leftover stuff from this thing I was at the other day, and one is a type of sandwich I don't really eat very much, so I'm curious if I'd like it. I'd already eaten so much there, um, but it was gluten free, and I figured, yeah, I should probably have that. and not too many other people, considering all the people that were there seemed to be touching them. But they, I mean, you kind of tell by looking at them, but they weren't labeled anything other than gluten free. And I was talking to a new contact that I made, and I said, I have celiac. And she says, "Oh, I'm lucky I don't have that." But she was gluten free, and I didn't know that you could, or that you could have a gluten issue um, and not be celiac. But anyway, okay, well, that's a little bit random, but okay. Um, Certainly not something everybody would be comfortable doing, and I hope for his safety and productivity there. Some, that's not going to speak to some people that are there, that's for sure. And they can always, well, I mean, I'm ADHD, but they can always, you know, well, I personally would hope they don't have devices, but I've heard that some do allow them to. Um, but yeah, I know what I think about that. Um, I think if one is of faith or finds faith, they will do it naturally, and they might lean on it pretty strongly. But and the thing is that if we're going to talk about the justice system for a moment, there are definitely some people that deserve to be in jail. There are lots of people, though, that I think just need guidance, just need support in their lives, and need um, the right people in their lives instead of maybe some of the ones that they've been associating with. Um, yeah, that's again, it's something that only certain people feel the ability to do. I mean, to me, it would be just too much traumatic things, and too much, yeah, aggression, too much thing, this and that, But I know that men and women can do it these days, and lots of them do it very well. But unfortunately, some don't, just like any profession. But I mean, and that's telling. Like for instance, like I've had no legal issues. 'Cause I'm a good person and everything. But the involvements, well, that's more been EMS and firefighters. Well, I mean, there's that too, but so have I, but, still. And I certainly don't watch those crimes. I don't think that they're healthy to watch, but I mean, they also sometimes seem too realistic. That's the thing. But, or is it video games? But that's the thing is that, like, I think I have some mental health issues. I've never been super severe with them. And that's also something at play too, society's effects and mental health. But sometimes that industry, they make decisions about somebody that they pretty much would, certain individuals would pretty much decide the same thing about anybody. In other words, they're tainted. Some psychiatrists are like this too, and so basically, or, sometimes, you're not necessarily in a state to go on public transit, although these days I wouldn't anyway. You might not be able to afford a cab and you need to get somewhere, but it wouldn't be wise to go with your relative that you're with at the moment, and it's just the easiest thing in the moment to arrange it that way. That's kind of what happened to me once. And I remember they even offered, would I like something from the Tim Hortons coffee shop that they went through the drive-through of, because of course they needed their donuts, they're cops, just kidding. But other than that, the only experience that I've ever had with one is when I found out my dad passed away when I was quite young. For some reason, they came with one or two grief counselors. She asked me what that was like recently, but I mean, obviously not the greatest. They came with one or two grief counselors. Why they came, I really don't know. Maybe they were the ones that had been on the scene of his auto accident, so that's how he passed away, and maybe in case we had any questions, maybe that's why they came. And it was very interesting actually that they came. It was bright and early in the morning too, from what I recollect, that they came with these two grief counselors. Like, well, because it is, it is, and even though so many of us will go through something like that in our life, they might not be. I guess they may be, for lack of a different way of putting it, a little hardened, or they might not really know how to help somebody cope with receiving that kind of information. Doesn't really matter actually that it was like at 4 or 5 in the morning. Uh, yeah, yeah. I guess we have that in common, and but yeah, they're all in heaven. You know, um, very proud and and comfortable and missing missing us both. Each of all of our loved ones. Um, and yeah. But anywho, so um, when I look back at this comment here, that I put, life is for all of us. Not to get deep or stay deep like this or whatever. You mean Peggy? You were talking about pigs. You typed Grandma Piggy, unless you mean an old pig. I think you mean Peggy though, but I could be wrong. It's. Here is the thing. Whether either of the two that are here now need to hear this, somebody anybody that sees it after, even though it's 40 something minutes in. Um, okay, okay, as long as she didn't mind. um, I'll say it this way, and it's weird because I'm sort of surprised that I don't think I've ever thought this before or not verbalized it. And I verbalized a lot of stuff with, being a content creator and having aphantasia and just being very audio visual style. Um, Please feel the feels, sit with the deepness, and I'd love to hear what you think about what I'm about to say. Okay. And by the way, I guess she had a granddaughter then that had that animal. Anyway, some of us do not choose to pass away, and that may sound obvious. I understand. Some of us, some people die young, pass away young. I prefer that phrase. Uh, whether it's an auto accident, a health issue, whatever. And I'm not judging at all or saying that I disrespect those who are questioning their life, questioning whether they actually want to do something to themselves. And we don't have to get biblical on this. Um, you know, you know, um, and I think that maybe it's an important reminder, and that's where we lost with you. And I hope it wasn't the end. Well, too bad if it was either. Maybe it wasn't. Maybe that's inaccurate. But it's just basically that you know. I know I just said that statement, and now I'm going to take a sip of water. I mean, this is in some ways more so in a thought and ideation type of way. Um, um, a lesson for myself as well, a reminder for myself, and definitely a hard one, even though it makes a lot of sense. Like I say, if they chose, I've tried to stop people from doing it, but you really can't. Um, I agree and disagree with that, and I'll say why in a moment. But oh, that's better. A little bit higher on the couch because my knees are sore. Um, but yeah, it's basically like, sure, life is hard. It can certainly be. It can also be very beautiful. And we can all experience both. And these days, even if it's just online with the ability to use the internet, You know, I'm not going to say that certain things will be easy to ignore, or that you shouldn't work on your struggles, but you can put yourself in a happier mindset. You can put yourself, you can look at the things that you truly love, and appreciate the things that you truly love online as well. Um, but basically, um, and to know that there are people like me that care, even if we don't really know each other. Um, you know, I think it's pretty special, to be honest. Not to toot my own bugle, but the mutual support is. It's not just me giving it. Is special, I think. Um, but yeah, basically, to think that that those loved ones didn't want that to happen to them. You know that they would have chosen otherwise if they could have. Um, really kind of puts things in perspective, I guess is what I'm trying to say. Now, as far as you've tried to stop those people from doing something, but you really can't, and maybe haven't been able to, um, what's coming to mind from that is the reminder to yourself and anyone else who relates to this, to know that you did your best, or you did what you were meant to do. Okay. And that honestly, sometimes it is somebody's journey to go that way. Um, when you say you really can't stop them, I disagree with that, because you can. It's hard to put this into words. You can try to. You can either see the signs. You can, and this topic, because it's deeper. Even though I want to be there for people, there's lots of people that can be there for, for folks. This topic, because this is a channel that both of us use in the house. um, I would, even though sometimes I get notifications, I really should go looking more deeply at comments too, not just videos. But it's really, I don't know if I'd want G to see comments about this, but in the live stream, in the live chat is fine. Just afterwards, if you're. But that being said, if you're struggling and you really don't know who to reach out to, and it feels like it would be your preference, and you're liking my vibe, and you're not finding anyone else, on YouTube that you want to say it to, I don't want to say no. Because as much as I respect the journey, and that that's the way that it happens for some people, if it can be prevented, you know, back to that topic, life, back to that statement, life is for all of us. Um, okay, good. Good that they're still here. Um, but what's interesting, and I said something similar to this the other night, and I think you were watching as well, and the other person's welcome to weigh in too. I had said, in a way, I can't remember exactly how it came out, but I said, God did take care of them. If we want, just briefly mention God for a moment here, because He brought them to heaven. Um, I think that either way, even when we go through losses, we have to be thankful that we have had that person in our life, that we have been in theirs, um, and all that that means. Um, but as far as you know, I don't know. Maybe it takes some. It takes an aware person. It takes somebody who isn't allowing themselves to be so rushed and distracted that they don't notice, who possibly has been there, who relates to the struggle of having those feelings, to notice it. It could be so hard because we can think, oh, somebody is, a loved one is just that we live with, especially, or in general, is just busy, or just, doesn't feel like chatting, or just, um, doing their own thing in their room. And although all those things, thanks for the hearts 100, although I don't know if that's from you, Leanne, or the other person, although all those things can be true, they might not be. And I know it can be very hard because we worry perhaps, well, if it's not the case, I don't want to plant a seed. If it's not the case, then you probably don't have to worry. But you can also still say, but, I want you to know that I'm here for you. Um, or I hope that you have others that you feel comfortable talking about, if not me, or talking to, if not me. Um, or that you spend some time on the internet, again, looking at the things that you like and enjoy that bring you happiness, but also that speak to your struggle, that speak to what you're going through. And that's really, yeah, doesn't it? Anyway, because you can find growth and answers, even if you're at a point in your life where you feel, or your struggles where you feel like that's not likely, or it hasn't been the case. I mean, maybe it has, and you haven't really processed or noticed it that way, or maybe it's about to. Um, but I mean, I'm thinking of somebody, not going to say who, but I'm thinking of somebody who had said that, at the same time, I thought that she had also said he was very energetic. I didn't know the person, but I seem to remember, unless she was talking about somebody else, but she was mostly talking about her brother. I seem to remember that she was saying that he was pretty quiet anyway, but he was being quieter than usual. And I think what her difficulty was is that he had addictions and she lived in another province. You could possibly say that it's a blessing that even though I haven't been Maria, but it hasn't been that long, that she is, just like me at the place that I met her from, getting to meet new people because of our losses, getting to uh, maybe be brought closer to family in some instances, geographically and in general. Um, you know, um, it's but yeah, that's a realization. That's definitely a realization when you realize somebody who's maybe a bit more on the quiet side being even more so. And I can't remember her exact wording, trying to keep her anonymous too, but something to the effect of like, these could haves, um, you know, but it's true that and it's not even entirely selfish. I wouldn't think it there may be aspects of that, but I think it's also that a person just doesn't have the capacity sometimes, or know how to do it, or want to burden somebody, and so they're thinking of you. Actually, they're thinking of how it would affect you. Um, you know, um, I'm sorry to hear that your birth. I think that you were you the one that recently said that you aren't that close with one of your birth parents? Because it sounds like you're close to your dad, and it sounds like you are close with your mom. Okay. So you're glad that she's here and you're hoping for more of a future with her. If I may ask, so I can try and help, because maybe that's meant to be today. Maybe that's why you're seeing this. What does that look like for you right now? How likely is it looking, and why isn't it looking likely if it isn't? Because I guess if it was, you probably would. Maybe there's something that we can figure out here so that maybe you can connect with her over the holidays. And I realize this may be complicated, but I'm a complex person. I have a lot of lived experiences. I do have to run upstairs for about 5 minutes, probably less than that. But And yes, talking is definitely helpful. And if it doesn't work well with one person, go to the next. Go do it until you feel heard and you feel like you're making progress. That's because we as people need that. It's one of the hardest, worst feelings when you feel like you're not making progress in your life and in what you're going through. Okay, okay. So they're okay. They're divorced. Yeah. Okay. So you call your mom every Monday, and is that something that you just feel is important to keep in your routine but find challenging, or is it actually a fairly pleasant experience? Um, I think we can, if it hasn't been realized yet, or I haven't said, we can relate to having mothers that can be difficult, have challenges. Um, anyway, I, my body is telling me to go upstairs for a few moments. So I welcome you to say any of your other thoughts, and I'll look at them when I get back. Um, Thank you for opening up with me. And okay, okay. Well, I mean, I'm happy for you with that. I really am. I hope, I don't know how this will come across, but it's interesting because you know what I'm finding? I mean, I like to get to know people, and I'm getting to know you. It's true. But I feel like I want to know a bit more about your mother. I feel like one reason I think, one reason is because it sounds like she has a lot of struggles. And again, my strong desire to help people. Um, you know, if there's something that she's been struggling with, even if she's been getting help with it, um, maybe we could talk about it. Maybe, it might be awkward to say that, you could just say you were talking to a friend. Um, and that's something, yeah, I understand what you're saying. That's something, okay, I really, the urge to run upstairs for a moment is really speaking to me. So I'm going to do that. But, okay, I can't offer a lot of support about that. I can offer the understanding of how people can get spiral into addictions and how that can take hold and how that can be hard to heal from. That I can understand, not because I've ever done it, but um, you know, and the thing is that again, you know, I mean, sometimes it's a social thing for sure. Maybe a little less so with the older folks, but I would say that if it got to that level, though, and is possibly still at that level, that she is there's underlying reasons. It's not only, even if it seems like it, or if it's largely this, just because she wants to do that. You know, it's this is a safe space. Obviously, you're the only one here right now, and I know that this is personal, hard stuff to sometimes talk about, but it feels like it's meant to happen, doesn't it? So again, I appreciate you opening up. You know this, you know your mother better than I do, and when you grow up around that kind of stuff, um, that also doesn't make it easier, right? I mean, it feels normal, you know. I mean, you could say it's normal because so many people do it, but it feels like the way to cope. Yeah. Um, and in and of itself, growing up around, hard users like that, is a hard thing to go through. Um, I would venture to say that, and you could just say like say a friend told you, not someone she knows. I would venture to say that if she's still doing that stuff, um, and that speaks to your own traumas too, I guess, uh, that she's not entirely healed. And my hope is that she gets there. I don't know. In fact, even if you don't say this is the one you heard this from, maybe she, well, I don't know. I would like, for you to find out, I know it might be hard because of how you're connected to her, but maybe just ask her, what does she feel like she's needing in life right now? And if you can't help her with it, you can maybe help guide her to the people or in the direction that could help her. Um, Also, all that stuff aside, I'm curious your thoughts about the holiday season, uh, making it in the world, what matters most in life, and what you feel your calling is. And you've already kind of mentioned that, I guess. Um, but there's so many different ways we don't celebrate, really, even though you're a religious family. That's interesting. But we go feed the homeless. Well, that's also great. That's helping God out. So that's you know that's what I feel. I mean, even being God, I feel like He can't do it all. He puts us here to do the work as well. He puts us here to make a difference for others. Um, and if people could step out of their own selfishness, even even you know to some degree, then then the hardest part sometimes can be finding the ways that feel the most comfortable, feel right, feel easy. I think you mean now that's a bit of a typo I'm not quite getting because it doesn't look like I, but it is right next to those letters, so I guess so. Would rather spend a holiday with church and family and the homeless. Their sense of a community probably really helps with that. But that's good. Good to hear. I guess that's sort of what I was also getting at. Like, you know, being around family on the on the on the. There is something I've just given you a bunch of advice, and I think you're thankful for it. I wouldn't mind asking for a little as well, if you wouldn't mind. I will be very, very quick. I just have to run upstairs, otherwise, I have a lot of just found something interesting on the ground. Yeah. It's unfortunate that the house nearby is sitting empty now, and now our harsh winters are here, and it's not accessible to anybody who needs the shelter. That is a good person that's struggling and just needs the shelter. I would love to get out to have homeless feel welcomed. Um, you know, it's something I've kind of wanted to do, but others and yeah. Anyway, so you are still here. You haven't said, I don't think anything, maybe that since I left, but I just need to take a moment. I know I just was away for a moment, but I need to have some water. And actually, I'm going to top this up. I seem to be going through the water faster, at least. Yeah, I'm so glad. I am kind of getting hungry, so I'm probably going to eat too. Oh, I like that corned beef. I'm just going to put the water in the fridge. Still unsure about the email. I'll probably talk about the before. There's really not much to say about the event other than that I hope that the connections that I made are fruitful, are, good. Anyway, so basically, of course, I've been talking for an hour too, right? Whereabouts in the world did you say you're watching from? Also, and what time is it there? Out of curiosity, it's pretty early here, so I'm also kind of still feeling slow because of that. It's just past 11 a.m. I found this on the floor. It came off of a hood, I guess. I want people to say this. This is my hairstyle or new fancy hat. I kind of like it actually. What do you think of it? I don't know. People might think it's real fur. It might be. I don't know. Indianapolis. Okay. Oh, I not sure how long you've been working with the homeless community, but and the time zone is pretty similar. Do you know Rivka? She was a lady that had a slight, may have, I think she was only partially, but possibly fully blind, and I believe trans. Pretty darn sure. Which are two pretty good descriptors. Uh, she passed away a few years ago. Rivka. I could even possibly see if 6 years. Yeah, I think she passed away 2 or 3, but she was in that area. So let me just see for a moment here. Oh, I also wanted to let you know our temperature. -14 probably feels more like -20. Canadian metric. I've been working on the railroad. Sorry. Is that something that your mother struggled with out of curiosity? I mean, probably also in the church that probably helped get you involved in it. Let me just see for a moment. Um, I don't know if she still has her page since she passed away. Uh, but the other thing I wanted to mention is no, it doesn't look like she does. Let me see if I can find the obituary because I did initially, and then the next time I looked, I couldn't, and then the time after I looked, I think I could, but I'm not sure if it's her picture or if it's just like a photograph of something, like a flower or something. um, but my G in the GNC has a niece that has been homeless for a number of years. She's finally got a place. She has some difficulties, and I've always wanted to be there more for her and feel that family connection. Well, there's open father, but I mean, in religion, you wouldn't necessarily feel that. But Um, gonna have to do it here because I just hope that I'll be brought to life because of that event that I went to, and the one on the 17th. Because it's hard to say yet, but boy, do I need it. That's an Evanescence song, I believe. Oh, it is actually. Rip Steve. Um, anyway, and basically, I'm so about the sister. The other sister passed away recently, so they probably, although, well, she's married to a Jewish man, but I believe that she, and I don't think she's, I think she's non-denominational. But oh, what are you eating? But so I kind of don't want to see her. I sort of want to see the daughter, even though I know that she's got her difficulties. Uh, looks like she was in Union County, or that's where she passed away in New Albany. Um, oh, really? So you're not looking forward to it? Okay, you've been here. You haven't been in the kitchen. Um, I don't know if that's the same person because I thought it was Rivka and this says Riva, but the last name's kind of unique, and it says Penn Live. Is New Albany in Indianapolis? Or am I seeing the wrong person here? Anyway, point of the matter is that I kind of want to see Mary, but I kind of don't want to see the sister. Um, I don't want to go to her building because it's a former friend that lives in it, and it's a rough area. Don't really want her at our place. I don't know if we should just go out, meet her, and go out somewhere. I don't know if she'd be reliable, so we'd have to do it on a day that's pretty good weather. I mean, I know that she cares about us and would like to, but for lack of a different way to put it, well, she could be unreliable. That's just what we'll say. Um, but I think it might be nice to see her. But yeah, I mean, because he might already be thinking about it, even though he doesn't really celebrate Christmas much. You know, I think he might already be thinking about seeing the sister. So, you know, but then we'd have to be careful because if the mother doesn't connect with the daughter over the holidays, then but finds out that we did, that could cause awkwardness. Yeah, I can't. Let me just see if this. And I click this. Yeah, New Albany. Is that in where you live? It is. Not the exact area though, right? That would be wild. If I'm trying to decide if she'd be as old as 68. No, I don't think this is the same one because this one passed away this summer. No, that's not the same person. Never mind that. But there's somebody with a very similar kind of unique name. I don't know what culture the name Riva is, Reva. But again, I think she was Rivka. I should know, but um, yeah, it's annoying when you can't find the obituary to someone that you know has passed away. You know that you've seen it before. Um, let me just quickly with that look at images just to see. It's just finding people with that last name. I think she was right in Indianapolis, to be honest, from what I recall. Um, that pisses me off that they didn't keep her page as a memorial page either. Um, the only thing I can think of to quickly look at here is in Messenger because some people use Messenger separate, right? So let me just quickly see. Okay, I think I'm finding it. And it looks like it's actually Riva. Okay, I got a picture here for you. It's kind of small, but maybe if I, well, no, I think it would, isn't that what I said it found? Okay. Um, um, she has a somewhat average look, I suppose. I don't know, but you might recognize her. Have you really? Have you really? Yeah, actually Indianapolis, Indiana. Yeah, that's what you said, Indiana, right? And she used to work at a place called Kittles. I'm not sure what that is. Sounds like a store. Oh, really? Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Small world. Holy. I want more of this kind of stuff to happen. Like legit though. What do you remember? I mean, what do you remember any conversations you had with her? Um and by the way, yeah, she passed away. She moved to Ellettsville, apparently, next to Bloomington. Oh, well, I'd love to hear from I would maybe just tell them that you found somebody on YouTube that knows her, and if you have anything to say, I'd love to hear about it. Even if it's not while I'm live, you can come comment one of my videos. Uh, but I know that she gifted us something very lovely at a meal program, actually. After kind of she did something that I didn't like, but yeah, she did that. It's kind of ironic after that thing was on the weekend, and where it was, and then also, but yeah, that isn't something I go to anymore. Well, yeah, he doesn't have to be on YouTube. You can relay it to me. Just making sure again that we're talking about the same person. That's a better. Like, oh no, it's not her. Don't disappoint me now, but be honest. Cool. Well, I look forward to hearing what he says about her. I'd be curious if either of you knew that she was trans. Did you know that? And had the vision thing difficulty? Apparently, she'd done some acting as well. Um, yeah, she. So I knew her on another social media site. I think we even had one or two audio calls. But I knew her probably about 10 to 12 years on another on the only other one I really use other than email. We actually did email each other a little bit, but that might be my old device. I'd have to look. I might actually have some things I could look at there. Um, really? Yeah. The only thing that I know about is she was in something kind of about ghosts in a on campus, something. I can't remember what else. I know that G was in something I thought was on Coaster as a background actor, and she thought it was cool, and that made me feel awkward. Um, but I do believe that she has since, um, in the way that she can now, said that that wasn't cool for her to do. She shouldn't have done that. She apologizes. Like I say, she gave us that meal program for a while, and I haven't thought about her for a while actually. But thank you for being here. Enjoy your dinner. I look forward to hearing from you about you know who, and take care. If somebody else just tuned in now, feel free to join the conversation. I have been rambling for a while, but maybe not necessarily ready to wrap up. That was really interesting what just transpired. Probably very, very rare type of thing. But um, our chatter is familiar with an online acquaintance, someone I knew online. I almost do want to wrap it because it's coming after it. But it's so good. I am kind of hungry though. I really am. I really am. An amazing actor. Was this deep into it, you know? I actually am. My chest is feeling kind of odd. Not too sure why, and I am feeling quite hungry. So I think I'm gonna get something to eat in a moment. But and I don't know. Now I find it. I don't know if that person knew that you passed away, but I just had a very interesting interaction with one of our chatters, and it's a reminder that we all may know people. Okay, I'll wait. Looks like you left. I mean, we've already confirmed that she knows her. Yeah, now I find it. I guess there was just too many Rivkas, but that's not what it found. It found the other name, but didn't find her at first. That's weird. It'd be really wild if today was December 15th. It's pretty darn close, being the 8th, because that was the year she passed away. What year did Leanne pass away? Was it the same year? I don't think so, no, because I was living in my apartment when I found out, and I've been here 8 years. So, interestingly, I don't know why those two just went before that. Our channel, local, and then hers, but it wasn't sort of that way. Um, but I don't know. I was just about to say something. I've already forgot what it is, though. So probably shouldn't do this all on the same one. I'm starting to feel like. I mean, it's going all right. Let me just see here. I already have to run upstairs again in a moment. So that was very a unique happening. I just experienced something that's a reminder of how I don't know if that was the person that was here a few moments ago when I was saying that, and now I'm trying to say it thinking it's a new person and trying to articulate it, but it may not have been. How do I get rid of those? Okay, there. Okay, I already have to run upstairs again for a moment. But I put, okay, we got two of you here, and I'm really happy to see it. Glad to have you here. Just had a really great chat with one of my viewers who I just met last night, who apparently knows someone I've known in my life. Um, oh, you're back. Okay, well, then you know, but there is somebody else here. But yeah, if it wasn't for the online world, I wouldn't have known this person or the person that knows her. You didn't have to rush back, by the way. You can go and enjoy your dinner and come back and chat to me with me later. There is somebody else here. Maybe they'll join the chat. I'm going to be having lunch myself, and I am quite tired. But I mean, thanks for coming back, and with blessings. And yeah, I'll be right back myself. This heavy amount of what is it? It's not the worst thing ever, but oh, okay. But what about dinner? You were going to have dinner. I thought I'm going to bring this to the other room. You know, my health, unfortunately, and I know people will think, "Oh, see a doctor," blah blah. There's some things to consider. I thought that said girl cheese. It does say girl cheese. What the heck is that? I know what you mean, though. Those cheesy girls with their cheesy jokes in front of the camera saying, "Say cheese." Just kidding. Anyway, don't mind me. Anyway, yeah, okay. But just balance it out with a little bit more God cheese. I'm sorry, else. Yeah, there's really nothing else to say to that. But I mean, what else can you say, right? By the way, it's your fault. You put the typo. You started it anyway. So basically, so because it's something quick and easy, and you can kind of grab it and come back to your room. That's why you're here. As much as I say we should appreciate our family and eating with them and this and that, I know what it is. I haven't had one age. It's kind of boring. I eat a lot of bread anyway and cheese, just not in that format. But much as I say, like my friends don't it, I always feel so bad. She cooks all this stuff. She doesn't really seem to let her husband or son help, even though I can tell that the son always wants to, and it annoys me every time, to be honest. And then she sits there and eats by herself and talks to her stream when she's got her family there. But at the same time, if the other person doesn't want to say anything and you're the only one chatting, then I'm happy to have someone to keep chatting with. Did you say that you're unless you're high school or possibly college university? But did you say that you're the one that knew Riva in your family is at home right now? Yeah, it's kind of plain and boring, to be honest. I like a hearty soup when I eat soup. A thick and heavy soup. Okay. Did you happen to mention? And yeah, I again, because of my OAB and my pancreas and whatever, um, I know it might be TMI, but we're all human here. I have to run upstairs already. And then I am thinking that I would like to eat. Again, it's kind of sandwich myself that I haven't had very often, but it was something I got in an event. We were able to, there was enough to bring stuff home and probably still stuff for the presenters in that. Okay. Okay. Yeah. No feeling of that lately, but okay, cool. So who all do you live with? And are you watching like just your room or what? Anyway, yeah, basically, um, like I said, not too many people have touched it for some reason, and I knew that it was in a way eating healthy. Although someone said it's better when it's heated up. Cool. And just check in early. That's right. We met through Ninja. I was thinking Linda for a moment there. But yeah, basically, and if they're working so steady, a lot of them anyway, then they could probably afford to get something else if there was enough. And some people may go back. They kept it out there for anybody who wanted to, as far as I'm concerned. Sat out a bit longer than I would have initially thought was okay, but I've been feeling mostly fine. So I'm going to do that, but I'll bring you to the kitchen. And yeah, we are getting to know each other, and I almost feel like, we do well enough that I can make you mod, but if you'd like to be one, because I have, I think, 3 or 4, but 2 of them aren't on very often. It's mostly when I'm playing music, which maybe I should do more of that in a moment. Well, yeah, what kind of work you doing? That's cool. That's cool, though. Maybe the other person will decide that I seem cool enough to lay back enough to chat with and do so. If I feel comfortable, what? Making you a mod? Okay. If you're saying yay to that, then sure. Oh, that's nice. I never met Jim Mine virtually. And the other 2, old and long, long out of the work. Hipson's passed away. Okay, cool. I'll just make you a standard one. It's mostly to put people on timeout when you think that it feels necessary, because when I'm playing music, I'm trying to focus on doing that. But usually it's all good, as it should be. I mean, that one is really strange, but anyway. And we get really about the ones that are sitting here not saying anything. Just hope that they enjoy what they're hearing, and all that stuff. What kind of work do you do for your grandparents? Just noticing that. What is that? It's like a new feature in our kitchen. What am I looking at? Oh, it's a doorway. I was like, it's like a pass-through that I didn't know we had. But essentially, a doorway is that. So, okay. I guess it will show on your next comment because the menu did come up. But yeah, I'm not sure how musical I'm feeling at the moment. I want to eat and I'm tired. And I think I'm going to have a bit. Oh, I left it out. Oops. I think I'm going to have a bit more coffee. I've probably had pretty much a full. I usually don't have this much. And I don't want it to affect the nap, but it is before 12. And I sort of want to. By the way, since you left the previous time, I don't know if I give. No, just kidding. I did find a bit on the Chandler Funeral Homes website. Just so you know. Sounds like it's busy and fun, and it's good to have purpose and things to do. And curious about some of that other stuff later, perhaps. But looks like you may have already left, but that's fine because I knew you had to. Oh, that's the curry chicken lettuce one. Okay. Is that tomato or red pepper? I can't tell. Just gonna have a piece of this right now and then a piece of it later. Actually, I think it's one of each. Well, that could be orange pepper. I'm not sure. Yeah, okay, thanks. I thought you already had, but okay, that's cool. I appreciate your curiosity and desire to do so and all that. And for helping out and all that. And letting me know that you have to leave and not just doing so. And yeah, even afterwards, like I say, you can comment, anything your dad may say, but you know what, who rather. And I don't know if you knew that she passed away. Other than that, any of the other content, the lives and stuff, say, too best use this channel. That was really good. But yeah, and thanks for being here. Go do your things. Don't let me keep you. But I kind of want to. Actually, I guess all of this, maybe not this, but can be hot. Just this has lettuce in it. Those onions seem stronger now. They've been sitting in the fridge for a couple of days and wrap. Well, that's the worst thing about a taco. This is a wrap, but see, this one built up nice, so I kind of want to keep going. Keep it rolling even though I'm doing stuff. That is a sweet ass coffee. Picking up 2 sandwiches. That would have been something if I found out that she passed away and I didn't know it. I don't know if they knew it. I'm not really calm. But if I was to assume, his lunch hour is at noon, they say, someone who thought my lunch hour was at noon. On a Monday, it's less likely, though. You wouldn't be able to take the rock or something. Or that this one's long. You should get the sense. Yellow time. Oh, oh. More goodness is in store, my friend. Okay, good to hear it. So we're just waiting for you to slow down for a moment to say hi. I imagine that you might not be super up to a conversation, so I'm just saying hi. Okay, you're welcome to hang out. I feel like I prefer to hang in. You hanging in there? I guess you could say so. Good to hear. Funny how that came up. Some of the things that disorder that she works, not just on her family farm, but does other stuff. Yeah, aside from like her other half, probably 18 to early 20-year-old. Actually, let me just look at something for a moment. Have your hair? It's good. It just needs sauce of some sort. I think did. I feel that at the time. Yeah, there's really no dressing. It's kind of hot. Just making sure that you're willing to keep being patient in your life for things to come to you that you were hoping for, and to remind you that it's not your time to do otherwise. Oh, she knows that it's in, I don't know exactly how she passed, by the way. He is coming in. As far as I'm concerned, he never really left. Chopstick if you're curious, chopstick if you're not. What did I do? Because okay. Mm. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. We all have that was true. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. Oh wow. That was really too long, you know. Okay. You guys look a snippet. That's just ironic. Second thing in that playlist, especially considering something that came up earlier in this video. Spirit of Kaloon would be a lovely name, actually. No, she's not telling me. Then isn't it ironic that her middle name is and her middle name is Renee. Yeah, no, if it's I was a liar. Well, there have been some other people watching. They haven't really said anything. I'm both a little tired and also kind of wanted to look at a couple songs that I wouldn't be able to play out into this and then still have it monetized. But I guess if I'm not doing anything else, thankfully, that's what I was doing. So it's just like, okay, we just can't monetize this video then. But even though I think I've given some great support to somebody, I didn't feel strong thankfulness, but I think that I felt some. And, probably it wasn't really it wasn't really, it's true, it wasn't asked for or expected, but it was done with a good and pure heart and kind intention. So, um, but other than that, I don't know if I've really done anything that'd be worth a donation. But other than kind of showing up, but for the community here and trying to, like I said, put forth helpful things. But I'm personally not feeling that musical right now. I don't know, maybe I'll do another stream in a little bit. But I think I'm going to wrap up this one. So Yeah, I hate to do it though because there's well, I do have headphones here, and even though I'm not big about wearing headphones, maybe I could just listen to these two things in headphones. Because I mean, there is some build-up here, and that's appreciated. I'd be surprised if he doesn't remember her because of the unique name. I don't think he ever chatted with her very much, though, G, but definitely, I think, knew of her. Actually, these are surprisingly comfortable. I wish I knew where that hat was I wore the other day. I don't think I'd wear it in the streams, but it would be nice. Upbeat. I didn't really have much of my coffee while I was eating, but that's kind of hard for it away. Yeah, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, ooh, yeah. Holy water. Ay, 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 ay. Rubber. That was a fun tune. I wouldn't cover it, I don't think, but it was a fun tune. I forgot about some of the modern faith songs, or like ones that I think are modern may not be super modern. Past few years. Might tell us on that one, but I can't think of much of it now. Hi, how's it going? Doesn't sound too hectic there. I think there was some snow blowing around, but it's kind of usual. But I guess can't complain about it, right? Well, I just wanted to call you and tell you about something interesting that transpired on YouTube today. There was, and I'm still feeling a bit, tired and slow or whatever, but it's kind of a quiet moment at the moment. There was a girl that connected with us via someone else I follow the other day, and she was watching a video, and she came back today and happened to find out where she's from. Happened to mention certain name. I know you gotta be careful, but she was the only one I think there at the time, and it was deep into it or whatever, and she knows an online friend of mine that I have had that passed away years ago. You might remember Riva. I'm not sure, Riva Ray. But yeah, so that was kind of interesting. So yeah, yeah, yeah. So and are you browsing around the shop at all? Yeah, food. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Hmm. Okay. Mm-hmm. Well, I guess you probably had your sandwich, otherwise you probably don't feel like soon. Probably pretty recently. Good. Yeah. Feeling a little bit so in my head, but somebody did just tune in, so I'll leave you back to it for now, and talk to you later. Bye. Then. Okay, okay. But of course, it looks like you left. And if you didn't, it just looks like it. If you didn't, let me know that you didn't, because that's okay, because I am feeling a little slow and lightheaded, but I'll pace myself. If you're here and you want to chat, it's good. I just wanted to listen to one other song. I've heard of this. singer. Didn't know he looked like that though. I'm iffy about tattoo sleeves, but other than that, sorry, members section of the comments. Something I saw earlier did say members and then recommended playlists underneath this one's list. Hallelujah. Baby, yeah. Ooh, baby, yeah. Ooh, baby, yeah. Ooh, baby, yeah. It's never late. That sounds very familiar. Is on the way. Help is on the way. I have to stay on the way. Huh, that's weird. That playlist is now at the end of the row. It wasn't. And I thought that the title was in the preview video, but it's underneath it. On the way. On the way. Help. On the way. I have to say is on the way. Mm-hmm. Tell me yet. Rolling up, rolling up, rolling up, rolling up, rolling up. The night or day, early is never late. Every say, living up life to say on the way. Whoops, what did I do there? Is on the way. On the way. Hi, Marguerite. You betcha. Sweet potato. Mm-hmm. Ooh, ooh, ooh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Oh, 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 oh. Ooh, 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 mhm. So, aside from the side topics that I put in the comments there, I got an idea for a couple fun musical games, and looks like you left as if you didn't care. So, if you didn't, let me know. That's right. I can't put. Okay, well, I just never look at them anymore. You didn't get the memo, or they just think I'm joking. Hello, 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 hello. That individual actually looks a little bit non-binary. That one looks a little mean. It's pretty good lunch. It kind of made me want a bit more of it because it was so good. Oh well. I love bass lines and real lines. that an anvil? I think so. So what I'm doing during a quiet period of this was I was looking at some music. Some of it I'm not even familiar with. That was just in a play. Okay, looks like you left. If you didn't, let me know. And being musical, I'm reminded that I can do different things that seem to come with the gift and the ability, such as guess kind of what a song that I'm not familiar with may do next, um, or a rhyme. My mind works very fast to think of that. And what I've been doing is rocking out to this playlist and thinking, name that tune based on my ad libbed harmonies, the dancing that I'm doing, or the lip syncing. And I'm probably doing a little bit of all of it at once. So, um, let me see here. Um, it is kind of a specified genre, and if you were to make suggestions, well, you're welcome to do so. You'd know what I'm doing, which would at least make one of us. Just kidding. So far, and I kind of my health and I yeah, my health, I'm kind of not feeling like dancing a lot, but I can kind of do it in the spot, which is inspirational for those that may have mobility issues. To mind you, you can rock out and move in a sitting position or even in laying in bed. So let me just see here. And then also I put some topics for conversation at the top of this. There's about three, four of them short. I welcome you to take a look at that. And yeah, then join in the conversation if you'd like to. Um, um, Seemed like there was a couple people there that were kind of curious about what I was doing, or about the thing that I mentioned. But then you're like, but you're not doing it, you know. And unfortunately, some people are that impatient. I just didn't know if I was on the song that I wanted to do it to. Create the beard. Almost thought this was live. I might have to. Somebody there like that. Man, he looks like Tom. again, not showing the live category when I do that until I reload it. And the fact that I did and it shows it makes me think maybe, yeah, I'm not really sure about this one. I want to still like her, but I really don't know what happened there. Brother Nicole? Your joke was as fine as you are. Yeah. Yeah, but toast is not cookies. Everybody knows what it is. I guess I was asking that, assume. and that he'd never be a father. Hello, hello. It was very nice how you said that you're such a positive person, even all that you've been through. I'm not sure what I'm looking at here. It's like a faded image. It looks like a doll with a background. 6 people like, 3 people there. Nothing much seems to be happening. But and then also said that more conservative, but likes to have an open mind. That was very nice, and open-minded. It wasn't contradictory later. So yes, at the moment I'm not listening to music. Um, at this very moment, but I do have some side topics in the in the chat there that I put. But okay, looks like you left. Has there been anything else interesting happening in this before this? Is she saying something? Something about the lighting? I don't know. I can just show you this for a moment. I don't know what to think. It doesn't look quite the same on the screen. It looks more faded, and it looks more faded on mine. Just doesn't really seem to be saying a whole lot. I know sometimes it's the case for me too, but Bob Ross bobblehead. No, there's 2 screens. He's not quite showing. I can hear him, but I can't see him. I don't like that. And that guy is live a lot, doing trivia and stuff. And he kind of, he kind of, um, will chat as well, but he's mostly about the trivia. What is up with sleep streams? Detox dog bath. What is up with sleep streams? Streams. If people are posting them themselves, I'm kind of thinking that maybe it's that they just feel a comfort from it. I don't know. Binge watching it? I don't know. I forgot to get that rub. Next time I get out from Mickey and so I'll probably get it. So you know, try by eating in it? That's a silly comment. That meal is a whole hour of sleeping away. I don't understand that game. I don't know much about it, but the sound of it and the many some of the video games that are out there these days. Millionaire is what he goes by. I was intrigued, but if he's whoops, makes no sense really. This fire ended up. Man, she really holds herself slow sometimes and barely blinks, unless it's freezing up. No. Doesn't seem to be trying to fix her audio. Two or three of us have said that she seems like she's muted, and she doesn't really seem to. Unless she's just reading it now. I'd be curious to maybe watch her some other time, but doesn't seem to be fixing her audio, and I can't hear it. And I don't know. Love you anymore. God's love is here. God's love is true, trustworthy, faithful. Let's have one. Trustworthy, faithful. It's never going to change. So we need to learn this love and to remain in this love. Father, I pray in Jesus Christ's name that you would help each and every one of your children to receive the full measure of your love and your goodness. Touch these birds, oh my goodness. You can have all of it. You can take back and take some of the things we have to do those. Anyway. Crooked Peach? It's kind of an odd name. Anti-social violence. I think black people participate in more gang violence. I think that's the difference. What's the difference? It's generational. Are you celebrating Christmas? Is anyone there celebrating Christmas like me? Is anybody there that is happy because of Christmas? Because Jesus is busy for the season? Yes. Hey. Hi. Hello.
ask some of us out there. Some people say they don't celebrate Christmas. Me, I celebrate Christmas. As far as I'm celebrating my birthday, yes, I forget to drink water all the time. Early, I see you. Early, got you. Okay. Yeah, it got really popular. It was a hard time, like, I guess, like, playing it normal, you know, like most of us. But she's cool. Chester, how you doing, man? Man, clean. Oh my gosh. Have you lied?
I think I'm seeing the back
I
of the
didn't get a
chair.
video up.
That's when he holding it.
I did not get a video up yesterday, so I'm going to be posting 2 videos today. So what this one's going to be a longer video because I thought, you know what, instead of putting little bits out, do a bigger video, 30 minutes or something, do you know what I mean? Sky News. You've got some debut, I think it's wet fruit face. Freaking hell, finished it yesterday, was good, yeah, nice one. How are you, Fuzzy Trencho?
I think I feel more like watching stuff right now, to be honest.
Happy birthday. Hey, Josh, where are you from, Josh? Thank you guys for joining.
His mod name is Stink Bug. That's
Why should you assume that it's just ladies? Stink Bug. Why should you assume that it's just ladies that you're making voice?
I gotta wrap this up.